Here we go.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending yet, folks. Man, over is George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, we have a big weekend coming up today. A busy weekend, especially for this month for women's bodybuilding. This is going to be the second show for August, and we have two more coming up around the corner. We have the Rising Phoenix, also the Lenda Classic. As you know, it was kind of dry. We see now activity in May. We did have a couple shows in April, and then we had a few more shows in June. And July was kind of a bit. I think we was all right in July. It was all right, but with this month we have a stacked numbers, and all of these shows are Olympic qualifications, and a couple are Master Olympic qualifications. So the list came out just on Monday, and I'm kind of happy with it. I know, shout out to ladies that have been coming and representing, especially keeping up the numbers in double digits. It's been a struggle. In one show where we only had like 4 or 6 women, but 10 is a good number. I wish a little more, but I know the cost of travel and competing is a lot. And so ladies need the time and the resources to make these shows. But anyway, and also I got to get a shout out to my friends, and I call them my sisters, like Eunice Martinez Kitchen and Jolie Floops JoJo. As you know, they are this year sponsoring women's bodybuilding at the Atlanta Pro. Shout out to those ladies representing. Thank y'all ladies, because you know what? It's been a struggle. As you also can't forget what Anastasia Ryder did for women's bodybuilding at the Tampa Bay Pro. Shout out to her, and also Kay Larkin of the Behind the Physique, helping that division to have a place at Tampa. But I always get shout out to my dear friends Eunice and Jolene. They're great people, and they're doing what they're doing to try to give women's in the sport about a fighting chance. So anyway, this came out on Monday, as I said, and again, good numbers here. We have some ladies who just competed at Tampa no more than a week ago. Some ladies making their debut, and some ladies we haven't seen too much lately of this season. So, this is a good amount of ladies. One lady who is, well, she's on the list, but she's not competing. That's Lisa Apodaca. Someone told me that she did put her name in, but then scheduling things happened. And also, she's competing in a week at the Rising Phoenix. So my guess is she lives in California. It's a lot more convenient to do that show than fly all the way to Atlanta to do this show. But shout out to Lisa. I hope we see more of her. She's doing the Rising Phoenix, and also she's planning on doing the Steve Carr show in a few months. So the first lady on the list is Nina Amplefor. As you know, Nina's been a guest on my channel, and she made her pro debut. She's making a pro debut here in Atlanta. She got a pro card no more than last year at the North America's Women's Bodybuilding. President Physique. Some say they look at it as like a baby Andrea Shaw, a little Andrea Shaw. She has those aesthetics, great muscle, great femininity. And also she works as a flight attendant. You gotta think about it. That is a job where a schedule's kind of crazy. You are sometimes really at home. You are on flights every other day, trying to find a way to eat, to train, and still to make her pro debut just after getting a pro card no more than just about a year ago. It's gonna be years since the September when she got a pro card at North Americans. But she's a great lady. Great opportunity to have her on guest. Shout out, she's a proud woman from Ghana. This Ghanaian is Ghana. But she's a great person. I enjoyed talking with her. I hope to see her more in the future. Next up, we have the lovely Mrs. Mayla Ash. Now, Mayla won this title back in 2023, and she's been a multi-Olympia, both physique and women's bodybuilding. Impressive physique, great look to her. As you know, some time ago she had a setback with a situation, got a wreck. Then she was kind of struggling the previous year. She's been to the Triple O Dynasty a couple of times. She competed there early this year, where she did both the Open and the Masters. Personally, great for physique. I hope she does well this show. Next up, we have the lovely Mrs. Roshana Boswell. She's been in the game for quite a bit. I got the pleasure of meeting the lovely Miss Boswell when she came down to North Carolina a few years ago. She attended a seminar that was hosted by my man Glenn of the Amazon Fitness Magazine. She's been a multi-time Olympian in women's bodybuilding, great physique, loving my wife and mother. She was top 4 at the Tampa Bay this weekend, and I hope she does well. I think she has a great look to her and a great physique. Next up, we have the lovely Mrs. Patty Hansen. Now, Mrs. Hansen competed here last year. She took second to Heather Hunter. That was her after a long layoff from competition. She made a return. She had a couple of shows that year, and she also was at Triple O Dynasty earlier this year. She competed in the Open, where she was in top 3. Professor Physique, look to her. I mean, I believe she's also qualified for the Masters Olympian because she won in the Masters class last year. As you know, there was only 4 competitors, technically 3 in the Open and 3 in the Masters. One lady who was doing Masters was lovely Mrs. Michelle Brent. But she has a great look to her, great muscle, great femininity. I'm a fan of Patty Hansen. I hope she does well at this show, and we can't wait to see how she does at the Masters Olympia. Next up was a lady who actually made her pro debut in women's physique this year at Chicago Pro. We have Chishiro. I'm not going to pronounce her last name. I hate to mess up her name because she's from Japan. I don't want to mess up anybody's name if I'm not good at it. But Shiro, if I got the name right, she decided to make her women's bodybuilding debut here at Atlanta. Now, she was at Tampa Bay where she was in the top 10. She also won the qualification. She won Masters 45, but she was, I think, 5th in Masters 40. I'm surprised, shout out to Donna Jones, who won the Masters qualification in Chicago. But Professor Physique, she's very proud about making this move. She's only one of 2 women who's competed in this division. Many ladies who compete who are from like Japan or any other Asian country, most either do figure, physique, or they do in bikini, or even wellness. But I think she's a great look to her, great physique, and I hope she does well at this show. Next up, we have the lovely Mrs. Sheena Olick. Now, Miss Olick, I got a pleasure meeting about a few years ago when I went to my first bodybuilding show in Savannah back in 2022. Great personality about her, great physique. She's been a guest on my channel in the past. She's been active a bit. She did the, Triple O Dynasty early this year. She did Chicago Supershow. She's doing the show. She made an announcement on my man Glenn's Amazon Fitness Magazine podcast. She has a great look to her, great muscle, great femininity. I'm a fan of Sheena, and I hope she does well. I think we really need women like her to really step up and represent women's bodybuilding, be it on the stage or just on social media. Next up was a lady who was very close to getting her second Olympic qualification at Tampa. That's a lovely Mrs. Lenda Opera. Now, Leda's from Hungary, and she's been competing for quite some time. Remember, originally she was women's physique, but made the switch back in 2024, where she got her first Olympic qualification at the Atlanta Popa Classic. Took some time off, and now she's back. Pretty busy. Counting her first show was from Supershow. Then she took second to Alcione Barreto at the Portugal Pro. Took second to Paula Ranta at the Tampa Bay Pro. She's doing this show, and she's also planning on doing the Atlanta Classic. That's 5 shows, and if she does get her qualification here in Atlanta, she has to be at least 6 shows, and also a second Olympia appearance. To me, honestly, I think she should have won in Tampa. No offense to Paula, but I feel like this woman has great aesthetics, great muscle. I think just the problem is just to be a conditioner a bit, but I think she might have it at this show. Give her some time. Next up is a lady who's been a guest on my channel quite a few times. She's my dear friend, the lovely Mrs. Gabriela de la Vega, but you might know her by her married name, the lovely Mrs. Gabriela Morrison. She's been married for a good bit. As you know, Gabby been in the game for a long time. Great lady, great competitor. As you know, she's currently being sponsored by the Behind the Physique, that's Kelly Larkin's brand. And also she's working with the transformation company that's Hela Trevino and Gina Cavallero. Great lady. She just won her Masters Olympic qualification at the Tampa Bay Pro. And surprisingly, she was in the first call-outs for Tampa. She was 5th. And I was like, wow. She looks really good. Gina has really been doing some good work with her condition, her shape, and overall presentation. I'm a fan of Gabriela. I would love to have her on back on a guest. She can talk about her experience this year and her plans now. She's qualified for Masters Olympia. But the lady that she beat out for the top 5, I was surprised, is the lovely Mrs. Sherry Piami. Now, Sherry has been a 2-time Olympian. As you know, also herself was originally a physique competitor, made a switch after 2020. Great look to a great physique. She's been a guest on my channel. She's also been working with Bad Rap, just like Gabriela, also who worked with Bad Rap. a bit ambassador for them. I mean, she's a great person, great personality. As you know, last year she took a break after the Olympia in 2024. She was going through some medical issues. She decided she needs some time off, and now she's coming back. I know she did an interview with man Glenn some time ago that this might be her last hurrah as a competitive bodybuilder. And I know you guys, when you say they retired, but hey, you know what? They're still gonna keep in shape. You can keep working out. They're not gonna be competitive, but she still looks great. She's a great lady, great personality about her, loving mother, 3 kids. You know, her oldest son is going to college. Her youngest still at home with her, and also her daughter is a nun. But I'm a big fan of Sherry Pyramid. I appreciate her being a guest on my channel. I appreciate her support on my content. Next up, we have the lovely Mrs. Rania Temsigan. You know, I got her name wrong. I'll apologize. You know, Rania, she's been competing for a good bit. This is her second year as a pro. As you remember, she turned pro just a week before her pro debut at the Tampa Bay Pro, saying pro a lot. And impressive lady, she was top 3 this year. And also she did well last year at the Tampa Bay Pro. Now this is going to be a second show this year as a pro. Great look to a great physique. Some people would compare it to one lady she knows that she's really good friends with, and that is Christina Mendoza. They have that great femininity, great muscle. I think maybe just a little bit issue again is conditioning, but I think give some time, she's just about there. But I'm a fan of Rania. She's a great look to her, very feminine, great muscle. This is what really, I think, really helps women's bodybuilding, have women like her competing. Now, this is the list for the women's physique division. As you know, women's physique is going to be on Sunday. I'm kind of disappointed because, you know, the live streams cost some money and I can't watch 2 shows the same day. I mean, you know, I'm saving for my trip, but I am supporting this division because quite a few ladies has been on my channels as guests in the past. And I want to give them a shout out. First off, most definitely lovely Mrs. Sandra Amaro. Now, Mrs. Amaro, as you know, this is going to be 2nd year as a pro. She made her pro debut last year at the Ultimate Classic. I got an interview a little bit after that. She's also qualified for the Masters Olympia. As you know, she got a qualification last year at the Masters World Championship in the 40-plus class. She did Tampa, and she competed both in Open and 40-plus. Personally, a great physique to her. I hope she does well. Next up is Tatiana Balut. If I got her name wrong, I apologize. She's been competing for a long time. She's originally from Turkey. She's been game for quite a bit. As you know, she also competed at Tampa. She did Open and Masters, where she got her 40-plus qualification for next year's Masters Olympia. Present lady, press physique. I hope she does well. She's also a sponsored athlete of Star Suits, which do bikinis. They're in Spain, you know, and they always tag me whenever she and a couple other competitors are competing. You know, shout out to the lovely Mrs. Robin Burney, and this is going to be her 2nd show. She competed both in Opens and Masters at the Tampa Bay Pro. Present lady, been engaged for quite some time. Next up we have is Julia Carbacos, you know, and impressive physique lady. I mean, originally from Spain. This is going to be her, I think, a 4th show of the year. You know, she made her pro debut in 2025 at the Masters Portugal. Took 2nd at that show. And she got her first qualification at the Imperial in Spain, home country. She was 2nd at Portugal, and she was top 5 at the Tampa Bay Pro. Like I said, she looks really good. She's a sponsored athlete of Star Bikinis, and you know they often tag me with stuff like we've been talking about on social media. I don't speak too much Spanish. She don't speak too much English. We try to use translation between the both of us. I think she's a great look to her, and I hope she does well. We have here the lovely Mrs. Sarah Quill. Now, Miss Quill, last time we saw her was the Olympia in 2025. That was her first Olympia. She got a qualification at the Arizona Pro, which is coming up in another week or so. You know, impressive physique. And this is one of the ladies where I'm looking at her. She's on that cusp. If you look at someone like, you know, she's about this around the same age as Paula. You know, she's still young and developing. You know, she's originally from Australia. You know, she's been a pro for quite some time, a lot longer than Paula, I believe. But this is one of the ladies that could have a future in WPD, if not WBB, if she ever makes that switch. Next up, we have the lovely Mrs. Christina Driscoll. Now, Miss Driscoll interviewed her some time ago. As you know, she made her pro debut a little bit after that. And she was at the Triple O Dynasty. That's in Arizona, where she's from, in her own backyard. But she competed in women's bodybuilding and both Open and Physique, Open and Classic Masters. And then she made the switch back to WPD, you know, at the Tampa Bay Pro, where she competed both the Masters and also the Open. President Lady, this is gonna be a second show this year. I'm surprised she's not doing the Arizona Pro because it's right there in the backyard. But this year the Arizona Pro is not doing Masters. Both the Arizona and the Atlanta Pro are dropping the Masters class. It's just open, so because it's save cost some money. But she's a President Lady. I hope she does well. Next up we have is Linka Fornikova. And Linka has been again quite some time. She's originally from Czech Republic. Present competitor, multiple-time Olympian. This is another shot for her trying to get back to Olympia. She did the Portugal Pro. She did the Tampa Bay Pro just this past weekend. She also follows me on social media. But I do hope she does well this show. I remember one year she did at least about 5 or 4 shows. It's hard to chase her that opportunity to get back to Olympia again. Once you get that taste, sometimes it's hard to get out of you. But I hope she does well. Next up we have is one Miss Regina Garcia. She's from Brazil. Last time she was active was last weekend at the Tampa Bay Pro. Her last show was early at the year at the Arizona Pro. We might possibly see her at Arizona again. President Lady, great physique. We have here the lovely young Miss Tanya Dominic Gong. If I got her name wrong, I apologize. She's from Singapore. That's a long way to come to compete. Well, as you know, she was at Tampa Bay also this past weekend, making her women's physique debut. This is her pro debut altogether, and Atlanta's gonna be her second show. She actually turned pro in figure, but now she made a switch to WPD. And I see that. I mean, some women really, how your body grows and develops, you should follow it. Don't stick in the division because you feel like you're comfortable in it. Make that move because as you develop over time, so does your body. And it's good to maybe find a place that you fit. Don't struggle in a division that you might have outgrown. But I think the President Lady has a great look to her. Great line. Shout out to my man David. He got to talk to her a little bit. I think, she might have a good future in this sport. Also, we have a lady who I also had pleasure meeting when I was in Tampa last year. That is a lovely Mrs. Sharonica Hitton. Sharonica has been in the game for quite some time. As you know, she also served our country. She was stationed here in North Carolina at Fort Bragg. She was in the Army. And at any time who served our country, I'll say thank you for your service. I appreciate the sacrifice you made as a citizen on behalf of this country. And she's a great lady, has a great physique. She's been a multi-time Olympian. Last year she was in top 5. Before that, she was top 3. A great look to her, great muscles. This is a lady I say she is definitely what the criteria of women's physique is. Great lines, great physique, overall conditioning. It was a tough loss to Amanda Machado, but she took it in stride. I feel like she can win this show. I honestly want her to win the show because the way women's physique is going, some women are maybe outgrowing the division. She maybe go up to women's bodybuilding, and she's the one of those women that doesn't really need to make that move. But as you know, she's a coach and a trainer. A lot of people have worked with her. She's a great person. I'm a fan of Sharonica. I would love to get to meet her in the future if I get a chance to. Next up, we have the one Miss Mariana Kaspalupo. I'm going to apologize if I mispronounced the name. She's originally from Cyprus, which is a island outside of Greece. She's one of 2 ladies who's in IFB who are from Cyprus. Been again quite some time. She competed at Tampa both in the Open and the Masters. Next up, we have the lovely Mrs. Sherry Mack. I got the pleasure of meeting Miss Mack when I was at the Tampa Bay Pro last year. She's been engaged for quite a bit. It's a great little interview. She competed at Toronto Supershow just last month, and this is going to be the second show for her for the year. So I wish the best to the lovely Mrs. Mack. Next up we have is last year's champion, Megan Santa Barbara, or better known as Megan Morrison, Dr. Meg. She's been a pro for about a good bit. As you know, she made a pro debut last year at Tampa. She was I believe she was the top 3 at the show. Then she got a qualification for last year's Olympia here in Atlanta. She's coming in as the champ. This is another lady, good example. Maybe she's outgrowing WPD. Now, if you remember, Megan actually got a pro card in figure, but then she would do wellness. That didn't work out, so she made the switch up to women's physique. Physique, great amount of mass, muscle, good in detail, but I feel like she's getting too big. I mean, she posted up where she's like over 200 pounds on her off season. And that's way too much if you're doing WPD. But again, some ladies feel comfortable in the division, but when you start outgrowing the division, maybe take the pull from people like Paula Ranta and Sandra and Sarah Bradley. Maybe it's time to move up. And you might do a lot better too. But as you know, as long as she can win this show or place, some ladies will stay where long they feel like they feel like. Next up, we have one Miss Alejandra Toromero, and she is from Spain. Originally, she was a figure competitor, and now she's making her debut here in WPD. I believe she's done a show also in WPD, but like I said, I don't know much about her. Like I said, again, she's pretty much, there's so many competitors here that you try to get some information on, but I think she looks really good. I hope she does well. Last, we have, not last, but not, we have second to last, we have the lovely Miss Christina Specs. Speckus, while I mispronounce her name. She was after, she did a couple of shows. She was at the Mexico Pro, and she also did the Atlantic Coast. She also did both Most Open and Masters. And last but not least is a lady who's been a guest on my channel. We've been in contact with her. She's a great personality, a great physique, as the overall very feminine look to her, as the lovely Mrs. Heather Wright. Now, Mrs. Wright made her pro debut here in Atlanta last year. She was in top 5, and that's why I noticed her. Me and David were big fans of her, and we were both in interviews with her. She has a great look to her. She's a loving mother. She works as a nurse. Just a very impressive lady. I mean, I really enjoyed talking with her, and we've been keeping contact. She did well this year. Only you got to think about it. Her pro debut. She was top 5 in Atlanta, and then with a stacked lineup that was at Tampa, she was 6. Now you got to think about it. It was over 20 women at that show, and I think a couple more Olympia level competitors, and she beat out some of them to get into the top 10, taking 6. She was close to top 5. She was 6. And, she has a great look to her, very feminine, great look to her. I love her short hair. I love her smile. I enjoyed the interview we had. Her cute little daughter, Gemma, she's a cute little girl, and her son, he's a proud boy. He's there standing by his mama's side. And he should be, again, I said this, your mama's your woman. You can only have one. But I wish the best for Heather. I think she would do good. I think, if not the top 5, most definitely she's going to be in the top 10 of this show. Now, as I said earlier, the show is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be 2 parts. The first half is going to have figure, women's physique, and fitness. And those divisions I do pay attention to. And then the second half is going to have WPD. Well, here's again, I am planning on going on a trip, and every little dollar counts. Right now, it's the first of the month for me. About already broke, had to pay my bills and everything else in ShopWare. So I can only buy one live stream, and that is going to be for tomorrow's. I hate to miss the one for women's physique, like I missed the one figure on the Tampa. But I will try to catch up on as much as I can. I wish all the best of luck to the ladies. Also, again, I want to give a shout out to my dear friends, Eunice and JoJo, for putting up, sponsorship for women's bodybuilding. It definitely needs it. It needs it. Women's bodybuilding has been taking a lot of big hits, shows getting cut out. But thanks to people like her and JoJo and Anastasia Ryder and Linda Murray. You can't forget Linda Murray, multi-time Miss Olympia. Still giving women's bodybuilding a place where most promoters are pushing it out. I got a shout out to her. Her and Wing Strength, what Jake is doing. He just got a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Tampa Bay Pro that weekend. Yo, Jake! I want that money. I want that gun. I can't help myself until I think that man's name. But shout out to all these people who still give women's bodybuilding a fighting chance. Shout out to the competitors competing this weekend. You want to watch it, I will leave a link to the live stream in this video. You want to check it out. Support the shows, because more people watch it. If you can't attend it in person, the live streams are just as good. I would love to go to Atlanta this year, but I'm planning on going to Pittsburgh. I mean, Atlanta is a little closer, and I could say something about seeing my niece. But again, I want to go someplace different. I might go next year, or depending on if the Masters of Olympia comes to the States, if it's within reason and within time, I would like to go that one too. Either one might work. But shout out to the competitors coming this weekend. Best of luck to you ladies. And again, thank you to Bad Rap, and also thanks you to Linda Murray. And with this man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out.